Well, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? It's so good to see some Pathfinders here because I know that Pathfinders like to go on a hike. Is that right? Pathfinders like to go on a hike? Well, you guess, well, you must like to go on a hike, don't you? Well, I'm going to tell you about one of my experiences. On the East Coast, there's a trail that goes all the way from Maine all the way down to Georgia. One year I decided to take that hike. I was going to walk all the way from Maine all the way to Georgia. And I began that walk, and it was a hard walk because, you know, this backpack, it weighed 80 pounds. You know what it's like to weigh 80 pounds? Probably some of you weigh 80 pounds. So I began to walk 15 miles a day. You ever walk 15 miles? No? 3 miles? How about you? 15 one day. Well, I began to walk 15 miles up and down the mountains. And with a backpack weighing 80 pounds, that's kind of tough. And you know, after 300 miles, I thought I wasn't going very fast, very far. So one night, as the sun went down, the moon had lit the whole trail, the Appalachian Trail. It had lit it so well that I decided, you know, I'm going to make some extra miles today. And I'm going to go on walking through the night. And I did that. And when I got to the top of the mountain, you know, the top of the mountain, there's no trees, there's no bushes, because it's so high, nothing grows up there, and the wind will blow it off. And so I got to the top of the mountain, and guess what happened? It was a clear night when I started up the trail. But when I got to the top of that mountain, guess what happened? A big cloud began to come in. And before long, I couldn't see a thing. I couldn't even see you sitting there. And that's how thick the clouds were. And that wasn't too bad. But the problem was, there was lots of cliffs there. If I made the wrong move, I would fall over. And that wasn't bad enough, because just what happened after that, lightning began to crash right around my head. It would crash right there where that wall is, right there where that ceiling is, right there where that wall is. And it was crashing all around me. And I couldn't see a thing. So guess what I did?
Prayed.
I began to pray just like Peter did when he began to sink in the water. Lord, save me. And as I began to walk, and walk, and walk, I walked about 2 hours. And finally I found a place that I thought I could set up my tent. And I set up my tent, and I crawled in my tent, and the lightning was still flashing and crashing all around me. The next morning I woke up. It was clear as you could be. No clouds in the sky. And I walked out of my tent. And I looked up, and I looked down, and I looked up, and I looked down, and I thought, Lord, how in the world did I get from way up there all the way down here? Guess how I got down? The Bible says in Psalm 91, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High, that God would protect him and guide his feet, lest he shall dash his feet against a stone. The Bible says that he will send his angels to take charge of us, that we won't get hurt. I was scared when that lightning was flashed. So I tell you today, if you ever get into a place where you are scared, in a safe place, remember this story. And Father, and he will guide your footsteps even though you can't see a thing. God will guide you to the place of safety. You can go back to your seats now.